Episode 1. The Wedding Day Warning. The morning air in Tulsa, Oklahoma felt too calm for what was coming. Before the sun fully rose, Kira Lejoy was already awake in the childhood bedroom she'd slept in 1,000 times. Yet today it felt like a stranger's room. The house was quiet, but her heart wasn't. It beat too fast, too loud, like it was trying to warn her. Today, she would become a wife. Today, she would marry Darius Collins. 5 years of love, 5 years of promises, 5 years of believing she had finally found something stable, safe, and real. Kira sat up slowly and stared at the wedding dress hanging from the closet door. Even in the dim, early light, the fabric seemed to glow. It looked perfect, elegant, simple, everything she'd ever imagined. And yet, something in her stomach twisted. It wasn't the normal bridal nerves. It was something deeper. Kira slid out of bed and walked to the window. Outside, the street was empty. A quiet Tulsa neighborhood. Well-kept lawns, tall trees, stillness before the day began. She'd grown up here. This was the kind of neighborhood that raised daughters with big dreams and steady families. Her parents had built a life that people admired. Her father, Jerome LeJoy, had created a transportation company from nothing. Her mother, Ruth LeJoy, had turned a small grocery store into an entire chain. They were respected. They were known. They were the kind of people who had friends in every room and support in every season. Kira had never wanted for anything except peace. Because some secrets don't go away just because time passes. Some secrets stay quiet until the worst possible moment. Kira turned away from the window and forced herself into motion. She had to get ready. She had to smile. She had to be the bride everyone expected her to be. By morning, the house was alive. Voices downstairs. Footsteps. Doors opening. Phones ringing. Ruth LeJoy was already in her element, moving fast, making calls, checking lists, speaking like a general, planning the most important event of her life. Kira's best friend, Tiana Rycroft, arrived with the energy of someone determined to keep the bride from falling apart. Tiana burst into the room like sunshine. "Bride!" she shouted, spreading her arms wide. "Are you ready?" Kira smiled automatically, but her hands shook as she pinned a strand of hair back. "I'm trying," Kira admitted. "I don't know why, but I feel off." Tiana crossed the room and hugged her, firm and reassuring. "You're nervous. Every bride feels like this." Kira nodded, letting Tiana's confidence wash over her like a blanket. But then Tiana said something simple, something harmless. "You're marrying Darius. You're safe." Kira's stomach tightened, because Tiana didn't know the full story. No one did. Not really. Not the part Kira had buried so deep that even thinking about it felt like stepping into cold water. "Let's try the dress on again," Tiana said, walking to the closet. Ruth came upstairs a few minutes later carrying a tray. Tea. Toast. The kind of motherly care that made you feel guilty for having a secret at all. "Kira, you have to eat," Ruth insisted, placing the tray down. "You'll be busy later." Kira nodded and took a bite, even though she felt like she couldn't swallow. Ruth studied her daughter with a mother's precision. "You look pale," she said quietly. "Are you okay?" "Yes," Kira lied smoothly. "Just nerves," Ruth smiled gently. "I was nervous on my wedding day too, but when I saw your father, everything settled." Kira wanted to believe that would happen for her. She wanted today to be simple, but a shadow had already formed. A knock came at the door. Jerome stepped in. Calm, composed, a father trying not to get emotional. He looked at Kira in the dress and paused. "My God," he breathed, his voice soft. "You look—" He didn't finish. Ruth laughed, wiping her eyes. "Don't start," she warned him. "You'll make me cry." Jerome kissed Kira's forehead. "I'm proud of you," he said. "Darius is a good man." Kira hugged him tightly, taking strength from him. And then Jerome's expression shifted slightly, like he'd remembered something. "Ruth," he said, turning toward his wife. "The phone's been ringing downstairs." Ruth frowned. "Who is it?" Jerome hesitated. "It's Evelyn Collins. She asked to speak with Kira." Kira froze. The air in the room changed instantly. Evelyn Collins, Darius's mother, a woman who carried herself like steel wrapped in silk, a woman known across Tulsa as a tough businesswoman with a spotless image and sharp control over everything around her. Evelyn didn't call people casually. She didn't call to chat, especially not on the wedding day. Kira felt her pulse jump. "I'll take it," she said quietly. Tiana glanced at her, sensing the change, but Kira didn't explain. She stepped out of the dress, threw on a robe, and walked downstairs like she was moving through a dream. The phone sat on the table like it was waiting. Kira picked it up with a trembling hand. "Hello?" "Kira," a voice answered. Cold, controlled. "It's Evelyn." Kira forced her voice to stay steady. "Good morning, Evelyn. I need to speak to you in person," Evelyn said. "Now," Kira swallowed. "Evelyn, I'm getting ready." "No," Evelyn cut her off. "This can't wait. I'll be there in 15 minutes. And the line went dead. Kira stared at the phone in her hand, her mind racing. 15 minutes. Evelyn was coming here, to her parents' home, on the wedding day. Kira turned slowly and looked toward the stairs. Tiana was standing at the top step, watching. Ruth was behind her. "What's wrong?" Ruth asked, instantly alert. Kira forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "It's nothing," she lied. "Just wedding details." But Ruth knew her daughter. Mothers always know. 15 minutes later, a black sedan pulled up outside. Kira watched from the window as Evelyn stepped out. Tall, impeccable, dark blue suit, hair pulled back tightly. The kind of woman who never looked unprepared. But today, there was something else. Her movements were slower, heavier, like she was carrying a decision that had already been made. Ruth opened the door with a welcoming smile. "Evelyn, what a surprise." Evelyn didn't return the warmth. "I need to speak with Kira," she said. Alone, Kira's heart sank. She stepped forward. "Hello, Evelyn." Evelyn looked at her for a long moment, her eyes sharp, assessing, almost accusing. Then she said quietly, "Let's go outside." They walked through the house and into the backyard, past the flower beds, past the perfect calm of a family home preparing for celebration. Evelyn led Kira to the gazebo at the far corner. When they were alone, Evelyn turned, and her face hardened. "I found something," Evelyn said. Kira felt cold move through her veins. "A diary," Evelyn continued. "My husband's diary." Kira's breath caught. Terence Collins, Darius's late father, a man whose name was spoken in the Collins family with respect and grief, a man who had died years ago, a man Kira had spent her life trying not to think about. Evelyn stepped closer. "In that diary," she said slowly, He wrote about you. Kira's knees felt weak. Evelyn's voice stayed calm, which somehow made it worse. He wrote what happened 10 years ago. Kira couldn't speak. Evelyn's eyes filled with something dangerous. Pain sharpened into rage. "My husband is gone," she said. "And for years, I believed I understood why he carried guilt, why he became distant, why he seemed haunted." Evelyn's voice lowered. "Now I know." Kira's throat tightened. "I didn't," she began. "Don't," Evelyn snapped. Silence. Kira's eyes filled with tears. Evelyn's jaw tightened. "Our families have been close for decades," she said. "I watched you grow up. I trusted you." Kira's lips trembled. "It was one time," she whispered. "It was a mistake. It ended immediately. I never—" Evelyn raised a hand. "I'm not here for your explanation." She took a breath, cold and steady. "I'm here to tell you something." Kira stared at her. "Cancel the wedding," Evelyn said. Kira blinked. "What?" Evelyn didn't flinch. "You will not marry my son." Kira shook her head automatically, like the words didn't even make sense. "Evelyn, please." "I love Darius." Evelyn's voice turned sharp. "You should have thought about love 10 years ago," Kira cried. "I've changed. I'm not that person anymore." Evelyn leaned in slightly, eyes burning. "You don't get to rewrite what you did," she said. "And you don't get to enter my family after betraying me." Kira's hands clenched. "Darius deserves to decide," Kira said, her voice cracking. "He deserves the truth, and he deserves to choose." Evelyn stared at her for a long moment. Then she said quietly, dangerously, "If you don't stop this wedding, I will." Kira's breath shook. Evelyn turned and walked away, leaving Kira frozen in the gazebo, trembling like a leaf in still air. When Kira returned inside, Ruth and Tiana rushed to her. "Kira!" Ruth grabbed her hands. "What did she say?" Kira forced herself to smile. "Nothing," she lied. "Just nerves." But the lie tasted bitter. That night, when the house finally went quiet, Kira lay in bed staring at the ceiling. She remembered everything. The charity event, the attention, the mistake, the guilt, the funeral, Evelyn crying at the coffin, and Kira standing there, swallowing shame, promising herself it would never come back. But secrets don't disappear. They wait. And now the secret had arrived at the front door, dressed in dark blue and determined. Kira pressed a pillow to her chest, her body shaking. Tomorrow, she would walk into Holy Cross Baptist Church. Tomorrow, she would become Mrs. Collins. And somewhere deep inside, she knew tomorrow was going to end in disaster.